Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will be talking about variables. So far, we have used a print statement in our last video. And in this video, we will learn about what variables are and how we can use them in Python. I am using a Jupyter notebook in Kaggle, a Jupyter notebook environment, as I've mentioned in one of my last videos, is a very easy to use, provides a very easy to use interface. So let's get back to what variables are. Variables are containers to store values and data. You can, for instance, if you have a string, like let's just, if you have a string, like if I store my name in quotation, in double quotation marks or single quotation marks, and I store it in a variable, I'm creating a variable called var name. So I stored a textual data, which is called a string, into a variable. On the right side of the equation, so in this case, there is an equal sign. We are assigning, so we are creating a variable name called var underscore name, and then we have an equal sign, and then we are storing a textual string into it. So this is called a string. A string data is being stored into a variable. We can also store a whole number. A whole number is called an integer, and an integer can be stored, we could say, number. We are giving a name to the variable called number, and we are storing a numeric value, a whole number. We can also store a decimal value. A decimal value is called a floating point value. So basically, we can store various kinds of data types into variables. So in this code cell, what we are going to do is we are going to create a test variable. We are going to create a variable. So you can think of a variable as a container that is storing some form of data. In this case, we are creating a variable named test underscore var, and we assign it a value of 9, for instance. So yes, if I print this variable, the value of 9 would be printed. Let's do something else. Let's create a string and store it in this variable and then print the string. So in this case, I stored a string into this variable and then I print the variable. So we could also do an arithmetic operation. For instance, if you do a simple arithmetic operation of addition, 5 plus 4, so an addition operation, and if I store it in a variable called test var and then I print it, we could see the value, what is being stored. So 9 was stored into the variable called test var. So this is how you can create a variable, give it some form of name. There are certain rules that you have in Python. There are certain rules that you have to follow while naming a variable, and then you have to assign it a value. So this is how you store values in variables. So let's talk about different data types. So in this case, the data type, we have created 3 kinds of variables. Let's talk about various data types. So the 3 kinds of data types that I was talking, different variable types. The very first variable that has been created here is called integer var, and it holds the value of 10. So integer variables are basically whole numbers. Then we have a decimal value that is stored in a variable called float underscore var, and then there is a string, a textual data. String is a textual data, and there is a variable called string underscore var that holds the value of hello Kaggle string. Let's execute this cell and then print out each of their values. So I'm going to print integer var variable, and I'm going to see each of their values. As you can see that we are printing. First I printed the integer var variable and it holds a value of 10. Then I printed the variable called float var and it printed the value 3.14. And now I'm going to print the variable called string var, and it would print, let's see what it would print. It prints the string hello kegel. So in this way you can create variables holding various data types and store various kinds of data types in variables. Thank you so much for this video.